Hi guys, can Brexit still be a success? That was the question former Brexit Party MEP Ben Habib was trying to answer on Brexit-friendly GB News this weekend. To Ben, it's irrelevant because Brexit is a state of being. I find it funny when people claim that they know what they were voting for, but at the same time will provide 100 different types of Brexit they expected to receive. Leaving the EU has moved from a path of economic prosperity to an argument about sovereignty, it seems. Ironically, of course, here, Ben is complaining about something he actually voted for. Have a listen.
Well, as a fundamental question, can Brexit still be a success? Yeah. Is irrelevant, if you don't mind me saying so. Brexit is a state of being. It is taking the United Kingdom out of the European Union to become an independent sovereign state.
Okay. The UK is an independent sovereign state. The UK was an independent sovereign state. Are you suggesting here, Ben, that if you're a member of NATO, you're not an independent sovereign state? Are you suggesting that if you're a member of the United Nations, you're not an independent sovereign state? A member of the World Trade Organization, you're not an independent sovereign state? And what's funny about this as well is that Ben Habib, it seems, is supportive of the UK joining CPTPP. No complaints about sovereignty there, where you have to follow the rules set by somebody else if you want to trade under the conditions that were set down by somebody else. The UK doesn't have a veto at CPTPP. It did have a veto when it was a member of the European Union. So I don't think Ben understands what sovereignty means.
Okay, well, now that in itself cannot be a failure. Yeah. If that is achieved, that can't be a failure. That's just changing the status of the United Kingdom to join, by the way, the other 167 countries in the world that are not members of the EU.
Which many of them are members of the United Nations. Are they independent sovereign states?
Only 27 members are. What can be judged to be either working or not is whether we've achieved taking the United Kingdom out of the EU, number one, and we haven't. And James got a bit of this in the green room before we came in. But we haven't left as one United Kingdom. We've left Northern Ireland behind, subject to EU laws made by EU legislature, enforced by an EU court.
Northern Ireland is not part of the European Union. Northern Ireland is part of the single market when it comes to goods. Northern Ireland has not adopted the euro and is not expected to. Northern Ireland doesn't have commissioners. Northern Ireland doesn't have representation in the European Parliament. Northern Ireland is not part of the EU. Now, is Ben stupid, or is he just pretending to be stupid because he reaches out to stupid people who think, oh, Northern Ireland is part of the EU? No, it's part of the single market when it comes to goods. Why is this so difficult to understand? And also he can't complain about this because he actually voted for it when he was a member of the European Parliament. He was a member of the Brexit Party in the European Parliament, and a vote came for the Withdrawal Agreement, which stipulates that Northern Ireland would be part of the single market when it comes to goods. He voted for that.
So to that extent, Brexit has not been delivered. The country has not left the EU properly. And by the way, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, which we signed with the European Union, hitches us at the hip in major government policy areas, including net zero. You know, I saw Michael Gove was talking about the need to break away from net zero. We can't do it because of the deal that Michael Gove and others championed. So
I'm not sure that's true. But anyway, even if it were true, it's irrelevant, because when people were convinced to vote for Brexit, they were told, we're just going to leave the EU. And nobody asked the question, well, what happens after that? The voters were not told what would happen after that. Just vote to leave. And some people, no doubt supporters of Ben Habib and the Brexit Party, have still been banging on social media and other places, well, we should have just left in 2016, or we should have just left the day after, or we should have just left. And to hell with the consequences. To hell with the consequences for the country. To hell with the consequences for our economy. To hell with the consequences for Northern Ireland. Ben keeps banging on about how Northern Ireland has been thrown under the bus or something. It's interesting also that Northern Ireland and London are the two parts of the United Kingdom that are growing the fastest economically. Why is that? Well, London is always a powerhouse, but Northern Ireland, why is Northern Ireland outperforming the rest of the UK? Is it because of being part of the single market when it comes to goods? Ben will not talk about the positives of that. He will only talk about the negatives. But we're stuck with this now. Brexit is not designed to deliver economic success. It's about sovereignty. And it's been presented by people who don't actually understand what sovereignty means. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.